Fredrik, I tried playing your mission 5 times, I couldn't make it. Yeah, so this was one of my side missions, Potomac Relief Camp. The biggest struggle here was that this whole place is, first of all, it's gigantic, but everything is a round shape and multiple levels. And the tools I work with are the squares, you know, the blocks.
Yeah.
So everything here was just blocks before. And I can tell you that was a very gigantic block out I made here. But it was also super fun to work with because all the elevations is like gold for me as level designer. Like the more elevations I can get or the more paths, the better.
I can see there's, oh dude, this guy.
Nice.
I can see there's a lot of like curved covers here, like where you're using this, like this is kind of rounded, and it's bringing back memories of like how we were trying to deal with these locations that are much more organic than what we work with.
Exactly. You see those curves on those covers there. Yeah, they have to have an angle. They can't be too curved because then the angle, the cover transition won't be as fluid, you know. This mission has gone through some difficulty adjustments throughout the development. But this mission it's not late game, it's more like mid-game progression here. So during your path towards this mission, you have already been introduced to most archetypes.
Right.
So you have the throwers and the rushers, etc.
Yeah, so now you have like a pretty much a full toolbox to just kind of play with. So this allows me to make more fun combinations of the archetypes I use in the firefight. And if you get to the end, there's a boss fight, and that boss fight really take that to the edge or to the extreme where I mix the archetypes. Because I have this big brute or tank guy with the sledgehammer, you know? One of my favorites, I love him. And you face him in this triple level. I'm going to die. and you face him in this triple elevated area. So it's like you have the challenge of dodging or taking care of the sledgehammer guy, while also being shot by the archer guys and the regular assault rifle guys. Not stressful at all.
Not
No.
So yeah, I actually got comments about that from the producer. He came to me one morning and said like, Fredrik, I tried playing your mission 5 times, I couldn't make it. And I explained my ideas to him, but in the end I tweaked it a little bit to make it easier. Which is kind of funny because I remember a couple of months after releasing the game, I saw a post on Reddit like, I found the first solo mission it's impossible to beat. And I'm like, I'm sorry, community person, that you had struggles with it.
Dude, I'm getting annihilated here.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you died, yeah.
Here, you know what to do.
Yeah. But yeah, this is what I meant, like this whole thing here was very fun to work with. Like this here, so this waterfall fountain thing, that one was not very metric friendly when we take it from how it looks in real life. So here we made adjustments so that the agent can actually use this fountain to go up and down.
Right. Yeah, you have to, those types of adjustments are needed when you need to be able to navigate these types of spaces.
Yeah. Okay, one last thing we can look at is that this side mission down here, the greenhouse community, is like, one thing about this mission is that when we scout locations, when we start the production of Division 2, we scout the locations in all of Washington. It's like, oh, can we find cool landmarks or unique buildings or nice cross sections or crossways, etc., where we can put side missions, control points, main missions, etc. This was also, of course, in combination with knowing where the evacuation routes were.
Right.
But, sorry.
I was just going to say, like, when it comes to like picking these buildings, you're saying landmarks. Is there anything that you tend to avoid when you're picking these types of locations?
One location we definitely avoid are churches and schools. Those we stay away from as much as possible.
Right.
But otherwise, it's just like if the location is too samey in a way, like an office building, even if it looks cool on the outside, the interior or the gameplay would probably be kind of too samey, because it would just be office to office to office.
Right. So you're looking for places that are going to give you a lot of variety visually, and opportunities to have high and low ground. And
exactly. And one super important thing also is that the less iconic or special the building is, the more we can, of course, fantasize and be creative how the interior actually looks like. So we could do sometimes whatever we want inside, as long as it also reflects on the outside. Like an office building is an office building, but we can take some freedoms of how the interior looks like. In the White House, of course, we couldn't do that. It's kind of strict. But this house stood out because it's very nice looking, very landmarky, and it also is right in between the different districts, like the name zones. So it's really nice located. And being a nice building with a big glass wall, that's actually caused some issues, because having this big glass looking inside the interior, it has some constraints about streaming, about going from indoor to outdoor, etc. So one way we solved that was with, as you can see here, we try to block off the lowest part of the glass.
Right.
So there's no more see-through, or else let's see.
It's also more interesting having some of the panels missing, because you get this really interesting pattern.
Definitely. I think the artists did a great job covering this building. And one trick we also do, trick of the trade, so to say, is that instead of going from the outside directly into the gameplay space where you start facing enemies, we do something we call a dogleg, which is basically we add these rooms and we add this door. This causes not waste time, but it builds time to go inside the building, and now the interior
everything is loaded.
Yeah, exactly. It has more time to load. And one thing, this mission was it was built with me and another LD. We worked together on this. The fun thing with this mission is that you start down here and go upwards. You fight yourself upwards, bop, bop, bop. And then you start doing the whole mission. You turn on valves for the water, etc. But then in the end, you are up there, and now you get invaded by the enemies. So now you have the high position. So you kind of get rewarded, like, oh, I have to do the challenge upwards now, do the missions, and then the last bit, you are on the high ground. So now you get the reward, so let's say, for the easy high ground position.
It's actually pretty cool starting low ground as well, because you're at a bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And from like a gameplay standpoint, once you hit the high ground, like you're saying, being able to turn around and now you are the one on top.
Yeah. This is also where I can
really
play around with this is also where I can play around with the archetypes. Like in that final beat, when you're on the high ground, there is quite heavy melee enemies coming. So you get the satisfaction of you're on the high ground, you can shoot them from afar. But they're also threatening, so you have to do it. Like it's a time game. Like shoot them before they reach you. I was contemplating having a minigun up there that you could.
Oh yeah, kind of.
Yeah. But it felt kind of lackluster because it was too overpowered. The reward was too short because they died too quickly.
Well, that's interesting. So you actually made the choice of not only underpowering the player a bit for more elongated satisfaction in the gameplay, but also by making them chargers, the enemy is coming towards you instead of like you just having a long range engagement.
Yeah, exactly. So they're coming for you. Yeah. Oh, that's why you have the hive if you play solo. Oh shit! Yeah, the hive doesn't help.
Most of the project I was working on the White House, and around the end of the project, I was asked if I could help support on the mission side, and so I took on the first couple beats of the tidal basin mission. And one of the things I had to tackle was like, okay, how do we get into this location? And I just decided let's blow up a hole.
Yeah, why not?
In the ground, and narratively we solved it. We start up here as well. Yeah. And so you can see like we have the cool downed helicopter in the back and like all these boats from the flooding.
Yeah.
And we just drop down into the space. Now, none of this area actually exists, but it's an opportunity, kind of like what you were saying in the previous side mission. It's an opportunity to build a location that works for the space that we need to build and helps bridge the connection between it.
Yeah.
But then also it gives you an opportunity to tell narrative stories and figure out like the logic behind like how we snuck in here.
Yeah.
And how Black Tusk doesn't know we're even this close.
It's nice to have this creativity to just create whatever you want here, and it will always fit with the narrative we want to have and the gameplay we want to have. It's like everything is quite tight there.
Yeah, I'm gonna just place some explosives here. And I always go back here even though you don't need to.
And this is like the last mission of the first campaign, or the main campaign, I would say.
Right. So we have a guy on fire.
Oh yeah, I love that, yeah.
Yeah, he always goes down.
That's some storytelling right
in
there.
the back, you can see there's explosions and then everything shakes. There's this obsession we have with trying to make our environments less static. So you can see, like, if I go into cover.
Oh yeah, the big dogs, yeah.
Yeah, you see that guy right there. He doesn't see me yet, but
no, cover.
He's waiting. No, but you can see how when I go into cover, things moving and the explosion and all these pieces moving from the explosion. We really want to try and push that detail of making the environment react to the things you're doing.
Yeah, it helps a lot. Like you said with the covers, like I know when you take cover on those railing things, they
get that little wobble.
Yeah, and it helps so much. I also see some yellow tarp over there, so that's some actively drawing your attention over there.
You could argue that level design is present.
Oh yeah, there has been some level design.
I'm gonna die.
And this is also supposed to be like they have landed here now. They have built all this. They have basically invaded Washington.
Yes.
So this all here was not here when you were level 1 and started the game. This came after.
Right, and you can see it in the propping. I'll try and stay alive so we can look at it. But you can see it in the propping that everything is in the state of deployed.
Yeah.
Like it's a location that you can tell wasn't there before.
Yeah,
and they quickly deploy everything out.
Yeah, the flooring and everything. But one of the coolest thing with working with Division 1 and 2 is to see the community and what they put up. Like when they compare like the real world to this world, and also like the challenges. Like we made a bunch of hunter puzzles. Like we have these hunters you can see now and then pop up, and you can hunt them to get their masks. And to watch the community solve the puzzles, it was so
way
awesome.
way faster than you expect.
Yeah, they're too smart.
Yeah.
Like, no, but damn, it's amazing to see that.
But yeah, you can see all of their stuff. We designed it to look quickly deployable. Yeah. You have wheels and everything is just being rolled out. And it's very active, right? So a lot of there's like, we're trying to show mud, lots of movement. The place is heavily disturbed.
Yeah. There's a lot of environmental storytelling just going on throughout the city, but especially here you can see it. Yeah, with the tire marks, it's a really nice touch.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in with us as we show you all the places we'd worked on.
Yeah, and thanks for watching.